Stop chasing after women who aren't pursuing themselves. I want you to understand that most men waste years trying to impress women who aren't emotionally ready, who are always seeking validation, or who are testing their limits without understanding why. It's not looks, money, or self-confidence that distinguish an attractive man from a struggling one. It's his ability to say no. His refusal to compromise his principles, his refusal to accept disrespect, and his refusal to be manipulated. The women who see you like you and ultimately fall in love with you are attracted to what you do, not what you do for them. Frankly, a smart man doesn't submit to anyone. Know that your worth isn't measured by the attention you give her, but by the attention you give yourself. Imagine a woman messaging you late at night, and you're tempted to reply immediately, even if she has other priorities. Most men are afraid to reply right away, fearing it might upset her. A man who truly understands a woman's psychology waits. He guides her life. He doesn't sacrifice his time and communicates with her in his own way. This waiting isn't coldness, it's attractive. It sends a message more powerful than words. I have a life you don't control. Now listen carefully. Women subconsciously observe how she responds to their subtle advances. Every small compromise you make reflects something about your self-confidence. Every boundary you set for yourself shapes how she sees you as rare, trustworthy, and valuable. This is something most men fail to understand. Attraction stems from scarcity, not availability. The moment you appear too available, too eager, too easily influenced, interest begins to fade. Intelligent men understand unspoken rules and abide by them without arrogance or harshness, but with unwavering resolve. This rejection extends to social relationships as well. If a woman treats you with contempt in public, tries to embarrass you, or ignores your opinion, an intelligent man will not tolerate it. He will not argue. He will not argue. Men are distinguished only by unwavering assertion. This distinction stirs something innate, ignites curiosity, prompts a reevaluation of values, and inspires attraction in a way that no compliment, gift, or token can match. Yes, women sense this on a deep psychological level and notice it when a man maintains his dignity with subtle pressure. This respect can be tempting. The truth is, most men resist it. Refusal isn't stubbornness or cruelty, it's self-control, aligning actions with principles and sacrificing oneself for temporary acceptance. This is the same reason why men of high standing hesitate to seek a partner who doesn't stimulate them intellectually, emotionally, or morally. You can't command respect and attention from others if you give it to them carelessly. Your unwillingness to compromise in subtle ways empowers you, a power that attracts women, sometimes without them even realizing it. Think about it. Every time you give in to pressure, ignore your boundaries, or prioritize satisfying others' fleeting desires over your own growth, you're unconsciously diminishing yourself. On the other hand, any rejection of the strength, independence, and control that women instinctively crave is a sign of this. Intelligent men are attracted to women not because they pursue them, but because they resist anything that weakens their character. This principle applies not only to women, but also to work, friendships, and any relationship that tests your boundaries. The first step is to identify where you made unnecessary compromises today. Perhaps you were responding too quickly to texts. Perhaps you agreed to a request from someone who didn't respect your time. Be determined that this won't happen again. Resist gently but firmly. Notice how the dynamics around you change, how the focus shifts, and how respect increases. Let's break this down. Smart men understand that attraction is subtle, insidious, and psychological. It's not built on flashy appearances or constant attention, but on rejection. That is, intelligently rejecting anything that diminishes your worth. There are 4 things every truly great man instinctively rejects, and each rejection elicits a powerful, almost irresistible response from women. The first thing a smart man avoids is wasting his time with someone who doesn't respect him. Your time is your money, and how you spend it reflects your priorities. When a woman senses that you're not giving her your full attention, she becomes intrigued. She wonders, who is this man? Why is he unavailable? Why does he have these limitations? This mystery sparks desire, not vanity. It's a clear and calm message. Attention isn't free. Women want men who protect their lives and energy. They subconsciously link self-esteem with worth, and worth with security, and a sense of long-term stability. The second point is a refusal to tolerate disrespect or deception. This doesn't mean arguing or fighting. This means composure and calmness. When a smart man tests his boundaries, makes subtle moves, or tries to gain emotional control, he doesn't back down out of fear, guilt, or coercion. Instead, he gently reinforces his boundaries or stops the negative reactions. Here's the secret to this approach's success. Women want men who are predictable, dependable, and self-assured. Disrespect is a test of awareness, while rejection is a sign of strength. It's a powerful psychological trigger. She feels compelled to reevaluate her behavior, and at the same time, she's drawn to the tranquility she represents. The third point is refusing praise or approval. This is crucial. Intelligent men don't need constant validation of their attractiveness, admiration, or worthiness. They radiate self-confidence because it's an inherent quality. Women are drawn to it because it signifies independence and emotional maturity. A man who constantly seeks approval creates subtle tension, insecurity, and boredom. But a man who refuses to accept validation, who maintains his composure and self-assurance, taps into an age-old subconscious system of attraction. She begins to wonder what he wants to say, why he doesn't seem interested in getting her attention, and what makes him stand out from others, and she starts to follow him without even realizing it. The fourth point is the rejection of superficial relationships. Intelligent men are selective and won't invest in anyone who drains their energy, questions their loyalty, or doesn't stimulate them intellectually or emotionally. This rejection is attractive because it reflects high standards and self-confidence, traits women subconsciously associate with long-term stability, leadership, and genetic value. When a man rejects the ordinary, it becomes rare, and rarity is a key factor in desire. She may resist, test, or doubt at first, but when she realizes it doesn't satisfy her, her curiosity and attraction increase. That's the bottom line. These rejections are not negative. Rather, they are deliberate and calculated choices that shape perception, ignite desire, and establish boundaries. Women instinctively notice men who reject them in these ways. They may not say so explicitly, but they sense psychologically who is a man who respects himself, is in control of his life, and cannot be easily manipulated. This observation triggers profound emotional cycles in a woman's perception of a man, her relationship with him, and ultimately her appreciation of him. Not accepting these four things isn't about being harsh, rude, or arrogant. It's about managing your inner world, aligning your actions with your principles, projecting credibility, strength, and mystery, and creating that subtle tension that attracts him. These rejections, when repeated, change every interaction. Women respond consciously. Their curiosity increases significantly. Their desire intensifies, and the dynamics of attraction, unknown to most men, begin to work in your favor. Now, let's talk about what goes through her mind when a man consistently rejects these four things. Most men don't understand this, which is why they find it difficult to create deep and lasting attraction. The truth is, when you set boundaries, wait for the right moment, or ignore her, her feelings will gradually shift. And when she begins to understand this, it's not because you did something excessive, but because you are special, unpredictable, and valuable, something she can't control. Think about it. Women instinctively test boundaries, often unconsciously, to assess a man's worth. When a man is obeyed or followed, the allure fades and her passion diminishes. But when a man consistently rejects her, something interesting happens. Her mind begins to think that she deserves more. At the same time, she feels both nervous and curious. She begins to notice the small, unseen details of what he does or doesn't do. These observations form a memorable pattern of thought, because they stand out in a world where most men overforgive, explain, or compensate. This process activates deep emotional circuits. She suffers from what psychologists call cognitive dissonance. Her desire clashes with her initial resistance. Consciously or unconsciously, she asks herself why she can't control this feeling and why she keeps approaching him despite her inability to do so. Is it to test him or to manipulate him? This tension is akin to addiction. Women thrive on emotional stimulation. A man who refuses to be completely compliant is also capable of offering encouragement in a way no one else can. It's a subtle, yet powerful force. Every restraint he imposes, every refusal to succumb to small temptations, is a hidden power of attraction that you simply can't resist. Here's another secret. Women often yearn for men who embody the qualities they subconsciously desire but find difficult to find. By resisting time, appreciation, disrespect, or superficial communication, you are revealing the qualities you crave on a deep, innate level: strength, independence, steadfastness, and mystery. You don't consciously think about this. It happens subconsciously. You begin to think about yourself more than you realize, analyzing your behavior, remembering your words, and feeling an overwhelming urge to submit to you whenever you desire. This is attraction at its purest, a magnetic, almost hypnotic pull generated without any attempt to impress. And let's be clear, this obsession has nothing to do with manipulation or control. It's a natural response to higher values, self-control, and boundaries. You don't force it. You refuse to be diminished in your worth. Women respond instinctively, emotionally, and sometimes irrationally because your behavior expresses something fundamental. You are a man who respects himself, protects his life, and doesn't change easily. This subconscious awareness stirs deep feelings of curiosity and desire within you. The more consistent you are, the stronger the results. Inconsistent rejections can cause confusion or resentment. Too harsh rejections can lead to unwanted frustration. The key is consistent approach. Maintain your boundaries calmly, confidently, and emotionally. Every rejection is a subtle signal. I am not your property. I am your husband. This repeated assertion will leave an indelible emotional mark over time. Understand it well. Her desire won't arise suddenly. It will develop gradually, generating tension, curiosity, and attraction until it becomes undeniable. When she realizes you are attracted to her in a way most men don't, she will pay closer attention, become more emotionally attached to you, and crave your acceptance, attention, and ultimately, your presence. This is the hidden power of denial. It's a tool used by the intelligent to create lasting attraction built on deep subconscious, psychological, and emotional bonds. Now, let's move from theory to practice. Understanding rejection and its psychological effects is important, but consistently applying it in everyday life is where most men go wrong. Smart men don't just know the rules. They follow them. Every interaction, every message, every decision is an opportunity to reinforce values, establish boundaries, and create a sense of attraction. This is how women begin to gravitate toward you without even realizing it. Start when it suits you. Refuse to prioritize anyone who doesn't respect that. This doesn't mean being cold or incompetent. It means living your life on your own terms. If she texts you when she's busy, reply when it's convenient for you, not when it's convenient for her. Don't despair if she expects you to obey her immediately. Always respect your schedule and communicate calmly. You are a human being with your own life, priorities, and self-respect. This attraction is irresistible. You'll notice it almost subconsciously, and it will make you reassess your worth. You're no longer just one among many. You're unique, and you don't need to be like them. So always insist on respect. Refuse to tolerate any disrespectful or deceitful behavior, but do so calmly and without drama. If she makes a small mistake or tests your patience, gently set boundaries. Don't argue, don't make excuses, and don't ask for understanding. Women are drawn to quiet strength because it conveys emotional stability and leadership qualities. This stability is attractive. The more you withstand rejection without an emotional reaction, the more appealing you become. You show them without words that you are strong, composed, and emotionally mature. These behaviors are inherently addictive. Equally important is refusing to seek validation. Don't constantly crave validation from her or anyone else. A man who is content with himself radiates an undeniable confidence. If she praises you or questions your worth, accept it calmly, but not too calmly. Don't over-explain, never rush, and never overreact. Women are drawn to men who maintain their authority without any pretense. This subtle freedom sparks curiosity, ignites desire, and fosters emotional commitment because it challenges their tendency to control or dominate. Finally, avoid superficial relationships. Be selective about whom you invest your energy. If a relationship doesn't meet your intellectual, emotional, or moral standards, end it gently but firmly. This selectivity reflects high standards and self-respect, qualities women notice and appreciate. By resisting superficial relationships, they create subtle tension. She begins to wonder why you're different from other men, why you don't submit to anyone's will, and her thoughts start to focus on you in ways she can't control. The secret lies in consistency. When you act inconsistently, sometimes rejecting and sometimes yielding, confusion replaces attraction. Silence, rigidity, and constant rejection create a psychological framework that emotionally surrounds the woman. Every time you encounter rejection that aligns with these four principles, the tension increases, the curiosity intensifies, the desire grows, and addiction begins without any apparent effort on your part. Remember, This isn't about arrogance or cruelty. It's about ownership. It's about taking responsibility for yourself, your choices, and your life. Every rejection enhances your worth. It's a subtle signal that you can't be bought, exploited, or controlled. Women sense this without realizing it. They feel it emotionally, physically, and psychologically. They start thinking about you more than you might imagine. They start following you without understanding why. Intelligent men who systematically say no possess a hidden power, a power most men don't learn and one women can't resist. Now you understand the hidden power of saying no. Patting, showing respect, not accepting compliments, and avoiding superficial relationships are all ways to change her perception of you. But here's a deeper truth that most men overlook. When these rejections are consistently practiced, they not only attract women, but also leave a deep psychological impact. She doesn't just think about you, she thinks about you constantly. She begins to analyze every word, every movement, every decision, trying to understand why you are different from other men. This effect is the root of her anxiety. Every rejection she receives becomes a cornerstone in her subconscious. She begins to anticipate your reaction, consider your next steps, and subconsciously starts comparing you to other men. This comparison almost always favors the man who sets boundaries, because most men are too forgiving, over-explain, and underestimate themselves. On the other hand, you demonstrate stability, self-respect, and emotional maturity, qualities that evoke desire on a deep, innate level. She may try to resist, challenge, or even rebel against it, but the more calmly and steadily you uphold your standards, the stronger your relationship will become. Women are wired to pursue what seems rare and emotionally unattainable. Denying your feelings is key to letting this desire flow naturally. It's not about playing games or causing a stir, it's about self-control. When you act according to your established values, she experiences tension, curiosity, and emotional elation without knowing why. She can't help but think about you. Imagine her life situations, envision how she would live, and compare her standards to yours. This mental focus creates an emotional dependence on your presence and attention, and ultimately on your acceptance. The most influential men understand that attraction isn't so much about what you offer, but rather what you're unwilling to offer. This is a subtle law of female psychology. When availability decreases, desire increases. Respect is shown and appreciated. Women subconsciously feel that you are special, rare, and desirable. The moment you consistently ignore the four things that diminish your attractiveness, this feeling intensifies. Because you are not readily available, they begin to crave your attention, energy, and presence. Your absence ignites desire in ways most men can't imagine. Now, here's the practical step that distinguishes the average man from the unforgettable one. Think about the four things we discussed: time, respect, appreciation, and communication. Ask yourself, where have I given too much? Where have I compromised my principles for approval or temporary comfort? Decide today to challenge, stand up, and support, and observe how the dynamics around you shift. Notice how your focus shifts, how your ability to attract others increases, and how your presence becomes effortlessly engaging. Here's a personal equation you can answer in the comments. If I wait for the right moment, demand respect, don't accept flattery, and avoid superficial relationships, my attractiveness, A, equals T plus R plus V plus C. Which of these four things have you neglected the most? How will you change it starting today? Write your answer below. If you found this video helpful, please like it. Subscribe for more ideas and share it with a friend who needs to hear it. Women have observed that intelligent men don't accept what intelligent men do, and intelligent men don't accept what weak men do. Now it's your turn to learn from that.